Hey guys, this is Jessica Giovini from the Just Press Play podcast. You might follow me at the Just Press on Instagram, sharing my calligraphy and invitation designs for weddings and events. I'll be chatting with other small business owners about life, from growing their biz to mental health to where to get your favorite coffee. Tune in every episode as we laugh our asses off and make fun of ourselves while lifting each other up. What up, what up? Hey everybody, it is your host Jess, back for another week with Just Press Play podcast. This is my first episode back postpartum. And I mean, if you're watching on YouTube, I definitely look different. I looked before pregnancy. As in like my face is like not completely blown up. It looks like my nose went back to normal. So pregnancy does some crazy things. If you're new here and just tuning in for the first time, this is a funny episode that you decided to listen to on my birth story and postpartum life. So I had my second son, Colton. We're calling him Colt. So Colton Joe is his name. Joe is named after my mom, Joanne, who passed away 4 years ago, right before my son Walker was born. And but we're calling him by Colt also, and I love that. Walker and Colt, saying two little rancher boys unintentionally. But yes, so I gave birth to Colt on February 27th, which was a Friday. Which is so funny because both boys were born on Fridays, almost exactly 4 years apart. Walker's birthday is March 11th, 2022. Colt, February 27th, 2026. And we are doing good. If you are not new here, then you know that I had a very traumatic first birth with Walker. So going into this pregnancy, I was trying to not be delusional. And anyone who told me, like, just think positive. If you have positive thoughts, positive things will happen. All good things. Shut up. I'm sorry, but like, if you haven't stepped into my life, so you have no idea. And I hate when people try to act like they know what you've been through when they literally have no clue. And I'm not asking you to, but like, don't try to tell me how to feel or how to be. So I do not, I welcome, but do not welcome the delusional advice. As my therapist put it, I do not have a crystal ball to tell me how this is going to go. So I went into it with way more positivity, but not being delusional that everything would just work out, because that's how I went into my first birth, and it was a shit show. With Walker, I pushed for an hour after being 8 days late, going into labor. Nothing was progressing, getting induced, and then his heart rate massively dropping, and then going into an emergency C-section, him going directly to a triage room outside of the OR, right into the NICU. Nick, my husband, got to be with him, but I didn't get to be with him. I didn't get to see him. I didn't hear him cry. I didn't hear anything, nothing. So, and then he was in the NICU for days. And then I got sick with postpartum preeclampsia, and we were in the hospital for a total of 7 days, which was really, really, really hard. 3 weeks before that, my mom passed away from cancer, and that obviously shook me to my core. Went into being a mother without a mother, not being able to grieve whatsoever. I truly, actually, and I'll get into it, don't think I even really grieved my mom until I had Colt. It was a completely different ball game this time, and I was forced into motherhood and just accepting what life was and like this new position of my life without being able to like grieve anything that had just happened. So yeah, life is wild. Life is really wild. But yes, multiple people said that shit to me, and I'm like, get away from me. So this time I went in planning to have a scheduled C-section. I did not want to go through labor in case this happened again. And I know people who have had VBACs, which, if you don't know what that means, that is just when you have a vaginal delivery after having C-section. And that's so great. But I was not chancing that again. I was like, I am not having the possibility of going down this same road. It was so bad. And to be honest, I never even thought I was going to have a second child. Totally was fine with it. Always knew I wanted to, but was way too scared, especially after struggling with postpartum mood disorder, after having Walker. And that completely rocked my world. And just so many chronic health conditions that come with postpartum that people don't talk about. And postpartum depletion is actually something that I am looking into, learning more about and working with a specialist about, because it is beyond incredibly important. So, yeah, I went into this feeling very confident. I had the date at this point, like, what was it, 2 weeks before, I guess, Colt was born. We had the date at February 27th. Leading up to it, knew there was a possibility that my blood pressure could do crazy things, since it had with Walker's birth. And for that, I didn't have preeclampsia, which happens before you give birth. I had postpartum eclampsia, so it happened after. It happened 3 days after Walker was born. So it's funny, I went into it thinking like, okay, you know what, it's okay, you know what to expect if this happens. And this time my blood pressure shot up 2 days before. So my OB had sent me to the hospital and was like, you know what, you're probably going to deliver today or tomorrow instead of Friday the 27th. I was totally fine with it. Nick's parents came over. We had our bags packed already. We were good to go. We get to the hospital, and my blood pressure just continued to go down to normal levels. So things you just learn in pregnancy is that your body is crazy and does crazy things. So we were there, and I was like, can't we just friggin' do this by now? Can't we just roll into the OR? I'm ready. I didn't have the doctor that I had scheduled to have, but the doctor that was on rotation that day was one I loved. So I was like, can't we just do this? And they were like, but there's really no reason to, like, you're fine. And I was like, okay. So we went home. Literally, after checking into the hospital, doing all the things, getting totally ready, we went home. My dad had literally just flown in from Florida, where he lives, and got to our house, and literally we were like, bye, we're leaving. So it was really funny that literally 2 hours later we came home. But then it all worked out, because Friday it was nice. I got to like sleep, at home. And then Friday that morning we reported at 8 a.m. My surgery was going to be 10 a.m. And that ended up happening, with like the way hospitals are. It was like 10:30, which was fine. But yes, this time around was lovely. It was a completely different experience in every way. I actually took notes on my phone because I didn't want to forget anything. So it was extremely nice and chill from the time that we checked into the hospital on that Friday. Now, Friday, I delivered Walker on a Friday, and it was I remember, so crowded and stuff. So I don't know if it was just like time of year or what, but the entire weekend that we were there, like, it was just so quiet, and it was really, really nice. So when we reported there, we were sent into the triage room, and that's where, they put the band on, and they're checking the baby and like checking all my vitals, and like my blood pressure was totally fine at this point as well. And the baby was great. I got to meet my labor and delivery nurse, whose name was Caitlin, and she was absolutely wonderful. And while we were getting all checked in and doing all of that, one of my former brides, Jenna, is a labor and delivery nurse at the hospital that we delivered at, Monmouth Medical. I didn't even know that. And she came over, and I remember she was like, hey, I know you. And I got so excited and happy to see her. I did her and her husband's wedding at the Stone House years ago. And I know she's a mom now of 2. And just seeing her was like a safety thing. It just like made me feel so comfortable. And it was just such a lovely surprise. And so we were going through everything. My L&D nurse, Caitlin, walked me through exactly what we were going to do, that we would walk into the OR. I had discussed with my therapist leading up to this delivery that I wanted to be able to review with my nurse and my doctor things that were non-negotiables for me, as long as the baby was okay and safe. With Walker, like I said, I didn't hear him cry, I didn't meet him, I didn't see him, nothing, literally nothing. Which is why I developed PMAD disorder, which I developed OCD, which I still have OCD to this day. It's just now part of my life. Because I didn't know if he was safe at all. Didn't know what was happening. It was so scary. And in the OR, when it was an emergency, and now this doesn't mean it's this way for everyone, but for me, everyone was running around. There were 20 people around. Anesthesiologist pumping me up. I was vomiting everywhere. It was crazy. No one was coming to check in on me. Even my L&D nurse was off, doing what she needed to do, but no one was there for me. And that was really important. That was not my experience this time. So I went through my non-negotiables. I told my nurse, and then when my doctor came in, Dr. G, I said, if the baby is okay and safe and does not need to be rushed out, and okay, I need to see him. And even if he does need to be rushed out and then he's fine, I need to see him. Because Walker, when he was rushed out, after 2 minutes, Nick went to be with him and he was fine. And he had oxygen and stuff, but then he was fine. And Nick got to walk with him to the NICU and everything like that. And Walker had meconium, and meconium is an automatic NICU stay as well. And, to this day, even my doctor said to me, and he was the doctor who delivered Walker as well. But once the NICU stepped in, he was just sewing me up. He was like, they didn't bring him back for you to meet him. And I said, no. And this is still something that I struggle with to this day. And Walker's 4 years old now, and it's never going to not be sad. But I said, please, I need to see the baby. I need to know that he's okay. Please. And my doctor was like, I will make sure that you meet your son. I promise. And he delivered. So this was different in this way also, because I had an epidural with Walker, and then they had given me additional anesthesia when we rolled into the emergency C-section. When you have a scheduled C-section, you have a spinal, which is just more direct. It literally is a needle that goes directly into your spine, numbs everything super, super fast. Also, shout out the entire team that was in the OR with me, because they were incredible. I can honestly say this was the most calming and peaceful delivery I could have ever asked for and experienced. And it's crazy how you can have such a traumatic first experience. Truly, there was nothing good about my first experience, minus the fact that my son was born. And then have an experience like this that was absolute night and day, and an actual pleasure. Even though it was major surgery, because I think people forget C-sections are a tremendous fucking surgery. They cut through 7 muscles of your stomach to have your child out of you. It is traumatic in that way, because it's just such a major surgery. I would love to take a moment to share about the Therapy Garden, a neurodiversity affirming therapy practice located in Hazlet, New Jersey. They offer speech therapy, occupational therapy, and community programming for pediatric clients of all abilities, as well as adolescents and adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Their work focuses on functional communication, self-advocacy, and real-life skills, and they accept insurance. To learn more, you can follow them at The Therapy Garden NJ on Instagram, or visit thetherapygardennj.com.
Aloha! Surfside Smile Co. Pediatric Dentistry and Orthodontist is making waves in Middletown, New Jersey. They specialize in pediatric dental care for the little ones and orthodontic treatments for the whole family, including Invisalign and traditional braces. Guys, I have to tell you, Surfside Smile is Walker, our little one's dentist office, and we love it there, from the amazing staff and the amazing decor, and we can't forget about their awesome golden retriever therapy dog, Penny. They want all of their patients to feel at home. They love getting to know their patients and their unique selves so they can set them up for success. Their goal is to get you smiling, laughing, and wanting to come back. Want to join their ohana? Visit them on their website, surfsidesmilecode.com, to get more info about their office and schedule an appointment. Mahalo!
But everything just was lovely. There were other doctors, obviously, there's like the main doctor, and then there's like all the residents that are assisting with the surgery. And there was one who was with me the entire time, which could not have been better because I didn't experience this the first time. Like, she stood to my right the whole time while I was getting the spinal. She had my shoulders pushed down because that's actually a very important thing. It's like you have to like be like a shrimp and basically like curl over, but it's really hard to keep your shoulders down on your own. So she made sure to do that for me. Definitely hurts, but like, it is what it is. There's people who are like terrified of needles, and like, just do it. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I could never not have even just an epidural. There was no way I would push a child out of my vagina just on natural, and no. Why should we suffer? And I also just think I have a really high tolerance of pain. But I had gotten really nauseous. I threw up a few times while we were waiting to get cut open and start the surgery. And she was lovely and brought me a bag, and I was able to just feel so comfortable having someone there. Nick was getting into his scrubs. Also, your husband or whoever the assisting person with you for the surgery can come in when you're getting your spinal. They come in after, probably for like hygiene purposes. But that was fine. Walking into the OR was actually very comfortable, and I didn't know how I would feel doing that, but walking in felt a lot better than being pushed in. I felt more in control. And then once I was laying down, I started getting so tired. And I had not remembered being this tired the last time. And I asked, like, is this normal that I'm this tired? And they were like, yeah, that's why a lot of people sleep during a C-section. So then I started getting anxious because I was like, no, I can't fall asleep. Like, I need to be awake for the baby. I need to know that he's okay. So I just kept like, my therapist had told me this, like, if you get nervous or anything or feeling out of control, like tapping your fingers or wiggling your finger, just knowing that your body is still moving and that you're in control of your body, like, just sends signals to your brain. So that's what I did. And it really helped with my anxiety because I was like, I do not want to fall asleep. I just want to make sure that he's okay and I see him. So that's what I did. And they had started the surgery, and like, you feel some pressure, and Nick and I just kept talking through everything. And then all of a sudden, they said like he was born, and I heard him crying, and we actually have it on video. It was so different this time too, because like, we didn't take videos, we didn't take pictures with Walker, nothing. Everything happened too fast. There was just no time for any of that. And Nick was taking a video of me, and then all of a sudden we hear the baby crying, and I go, oh my God, he's crying. And I'm just hysterically crying. And then Nick actually went over the curtain and was videotaping Colt sitting on my open belly, basically, and they're wiping him off. And it's actually like not gross. Like, it looks like watery red water. Like, as someone who can't even watch a horror movie, I can watch this video without being skeeved out or anything like that. And he looks so cute too. I know babies don't always pop out cute, but he looks so cute. And you hear me like sobbing. And then my doctor put Colt over the curtain, and I got to touch his feet, and he was so soft. And I just remember being like, oh my God, I can't believe how soft his skin is. And then he even brought him around because he delivered Walker. So he was like, I don't remember Walker being this big. And Colt was just about 8 pounds. Walker was 7'3". And he was like, I think he's like a pound bigger. And it was so cool to like see him holding the baby like around the curtain and showing him to me. And then, they take the baby out immediately to like clean them off, do that whole thing, check their vitals. And then they brought Colt right back in, and then Nick got to hold him the whole time that they stitched me, which was like just wild because it was completely separate from what happened with Walker. And I just still think back and I'm like, I can't believe like he was just sitting next to us the whole time. We got pictures, and at first I felt really guilty about taking pictures with us with him because I didn't have those photos with Walker. And then I was like, but if we don't take them, like I'll regret that we don't have these pictures that I could have had them. So definitely very glad. And that picture is actually the photo that is the main photo of this episode on Instagram. So I'm very happy to have that. And yes, I still look back and I'm sad that I don't have it with Walker, but I can't change what happened. I can just move forward. And EMDR therapy really helped me to reprocess that trauma. Doesn't mean that it won't always be sad, but it's something I can talk about now and not want to like just die when I talk about it. So that's a plus. So after that, then we got pushed into my postpartum room, which was actually like one of my biggest anxieties going into this. Like I had more anxiety about the hospital stay than I did about birth. My hospital stay the first time was not good. Like I had said, my mom had just died. I was extremely anxious. I actually didn't even realize that the hormone drop happened because I was just having panic attacks, which I thought was because of how traumatic the birth was. And with my mom just dying, that I thought I was just feeling like anxiety of grief. And I didn't realize that was also mixed with like anxiety of the insane hormone drop, which let's talk about that for a second. I actually went and posted about this. Once, I think it was like the day after we came home, I like posted a picture of Colt and I like in the hospital, but I wrote like, why don't we talk about the hormone drop? Like, we need to talk about this. It is the most severe thing ever. Like, literally, people are all like, oh, you have to be like, oh my God, life is so beautiful. I feel so great. Like, no, you feel like fucking shit. Yes, two things can exist at once. So, like, you could be so happy about having your child and then be like, what is happening? You feel now, and I'm sorry if this offends anyone. I was not a drug addict. I don't know what that's like, but it truly felt like my body was going through withdrawal. Like if I was a drug addict, like that is the best way I could describe it. And I'm sorry if that sounds ignorant, but I just felt like my body was insane. I just felt like everything was coming out of me, and that like I just didn't feel like myself at all. And that hit me like 2 days basically. And it was once we were on our third day, which is when the last time my blood pressure skyrocketed, and then we ended up getting admitted to the hospital for 4 extra days. And I had to go on a magnesium drip for the postpartum preeclampsia. And then even after that, I was just, my blood pressure wasn't dropping. And there were constantly doctors and nurses in the room pumping me with meds and drugs. And it was just like terrifying, very traumatizing. Tons of trauma therapy that I did on that. So this time it was day 3, took my vitals. And what do you think happens? My blood pressure shot up. Didn't shoot up as much as the last time, but it shot up enough that I was like, oh my God, it's happening again. I immediately was about to have a panic attack. I felt it happening. Like I was like 1 second away from the actual attack happening. And I was able to like get up and walk around and like shake it off. But I immediately went into spiral, anxiety, intrusive thoughts, just started going, crying. I could not control any emotion. I cried so much, which I know is hormonal, but I just cried about everything. Like anything made me cry. And I literally said to the nurse, what is happening? Shout out Nurse Emily, best person I've ever met probably in my life. I had her for 2 days. We cried together. I told her I know my mom sent her to me. I will remember her forever. And I hope that we run into each other again. She was incredible. And she helped me get through all of that. I asked to only have my vitals taken with the blood pressure cuff, not the machine. The machine makes me anxious. Hearing the noise makes me anxious. Having it done manually makes me feel a lot better. She made sure every nurse after her and my night nurses made sure to do that. It was wonderful. And luckily, I just developed gestational hypertension, and I was able to go on a blood pressure med that I actually went on the first time, and my blood pressure has gone back down to normal. So we are very happy with that. But PTSD is very real. And when I did my announcement that Colt was born, I want it to be real. I'm not one of those people that's just like, he's here, everything's amazing. Like, I want to be very real about like what happens and like, hey, yeah, I'm like thrilled. Here's my son, and life is amazing in that way. But like, also, scary things still happen. And my PTSD from the first time with my blood pressure came right back, and I started just envisioning what could happen, and the thoughts were just going. So once we got to go home, I just couldn't believe it. I literally like could not believe we were really leaving and that we didn't have to stay there for a week. And I was like, oh, thank gosh. And it was also very different this time because my dad came to the hospital, Nick's parents, his brother, in our room to meet Colt. And Walker came to meet Colt. And it was hands down the greatest moment of my life seeing Walker holding Colt. I just sobbed, got some of the best pictures ever. And it was truly the most joy I've ever felt. Ever, ever, ever. With Walker, it was COVID. We were only allowed to have one visitor a day. Walker was in the NICU. So like when my dad came, his mom came, they had to meet him in the NICU. We were only allowed to have the one a day. So everything was just so different. Another different thing that I skipped over was once I was rolled into recovery and Colt was checked by the nurses. They also had the NICU team come in and check him. We got to have skin to skin, which I didn't have with Walker. And that was lovely. I mean, to be honest, like that whole golden hour shit, like I don't believe in that because Walker and I have like the most incredible bond and he's obsessed with me and likewise. And we didn't have that. But yes, being able to have that was so nice. Like I didn't feel life changing that like I didn't have that with Walker, but it was so nice to be able to be with my son like this time and see his little cute face and like hold him. So that was lovely. And I have some really cute pictures of that too, which made me so happy. Once we got home, my hormones were still crazy. I immediately had therapy. Shout out to my therapist. I love you so much. And she had said to me, like, listen, the next week and a half are going to be very like high emotions. Like, so don't freak out. She knows me well. And it was true. Like every time that I was up doing a night feeding with Colt, like I was having intrusive thoughts. Like my OCD was on high alert. Like it was literally on a loop. Like I would have an intrusive thought, be able to get out of it. Another one would come. It was just constant. And I was like, how am I going to get through this? And I don't know how else to put it, but just eventually the hormones just settled. I used all the tools that I have for relapse prevention of OCD to get through, and it was so fucking hard, but like I did. And there's days that still I'm like, how did I do that? I don't know, I just did. Also now at night when I'm up with Colt, and same with Nick when he's up with Colt feeding him, we've been listening to our favorite podcast because I'm not really listening to them because I'm not working right now. And oh my God, what a game changer. Like it's so nice to be able to catch up with my podcast like during the middle of the night, even when I'm falling asleep. But yeah, that really helped too and helped be able to deflect my OCD, and things have been good. So, with Walker, my postpartum OCD didn't hit until I was 9 months postpartum. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that I was also like pushing a lot off. I was in therapy with a therapist who like wasn't the right therapist for me and was teaching me to like basically push away my emotions, which is not right. So listen, if you're in therapy and you're not finding that it's right, it took me 3 therapists to find my therapist now who changed my life. So you have to it's like birth control. You have to try it out, okay? To find the right person. It's, that hit so far after, and it completely rocked my whole fucking world. Literally, to this day, I'm never the same person, and you aren't once you go through motherhood anyway, and no one talks about matrescence, but it's a thing. It's who you become after you become a mom. I could talk about this to the day I die, and I know that sometimes I'm just like repetitive and like what is it? Beating a dead horse. Like I just go about the same topic, but it's true. It's bullshit. Women have just been overlooked and it drives me crazy. And this is literally why I started a podcast, because we need to talk about the importance of mental health. We need to talk about the importance of like also not being dismissed. Like the fact that we only have a 6-week check-in is disgusting after having a baby. I had a 2-week because of post-op for the operation, and then 6-week I actually had today, that which is so funny. But then they just send you on your way, you know? But no, I developed so many conditions after having Walker, like rosacea. I have eczema already, but I developed it all throughout my scalp, which I never had before. Thyroid conditions of up and down thyroid. So yeah, we're all over here juggling, being a mom of 2, still trying to do everything. Walker just walked downstairs and trying to find all the time to still do things I like. Come here, cutie. Are you covered in water? Hi, baby. I'm recording a podcast episode about everything that of a colt being born.
I now have a Baby Colt. It's a roll. I never had a
I have no clue what you said, but it was the cutest thing ever. And I think that's really the best way to end this episode. I will be having some Throwback Thursday episodes for the next 7 weeks while still being on maternity leave. So tune in to hear some of your favorite guests from season 2. Good job. And we'll be back in June with new episodes with some of your favorite business owners. Thanks, everybody.
And that's it for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in for another week of some awesome small business owners. If you like this podcast, please rate, review, and subscribe. Getting a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube is so important for people to be able to find this podcast. So if you like this, you can keep following me at The Just Press and at Just Press Play Pod on Instagram, and I'll catch you next week.